Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and today I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Sagittarius. If Sagittarius is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right, let's get started. Okay, let's see what these tea leaves have to say tonight, Sagittarius. And so, our card is the sun. Yes, the sun. What can we say about the sun? It is illuminating, isn't it? Okay, and if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit the little bell. It'll let you know when the next videos are coming out. And it is free to subscribe. And now it is Christmas Day evening as I am recording this, and I hope everybody, whatever holiday, whatever you celebrated or did not celebrate, I hope you had a wonderful weekend. I hope this week will be the most blessed one and safe. We have the new year coming up now, and this can be a really beautiful time of year full of celebrations and so on. It can also be one that is very stressful, very busy, not busy enough, and lonely. Even if you have a lot of people around you, it can be very lonely. So I just want you to know I'm thinking of you. I love you. Take care of yourself during this time. As you can hear, I'm getting that sickiness coming on a little bit more. So let's go ahead and where shall we start? This is the one for me. I'm looking at this icy Ganesh 100%. We know that this is a Vedic deity. This is the god that has the elephant form, and you can see here kind of the peak, the face, kind of a trunk in here, but overall I see the energy of it here. And we know prosperity, good health, to be jovial, to be abundant in your life, to find happiness and ease. This is an archetype, an energy, a deity that, even in my daughter's room, I have, right before the bed, a big tapestry. and to me, this is an energy really of yes, having the confidence, the room, the support in your life, not only the support, but the ability to stand on your own 2 feet, to find the things that you love, right? But the support comes from people who care about you, the positive reinforcement. And so I feel like this is something that you have been looking for in your life. This is something that if you had lacked this in your first part of your life, okay, you have spent a lot of time trying to create this for yourself to heal some of those old wounds where maybe, you were told, your dreams, the things you want to do, the careers that you envision for yourself are not reasonable. you know, that your interests are silly, waste of time. You know, maybe you're not smart enough, quick enough, whatever it is, you know, just this negative input, you know. And I think a lot of times our families, our parents, our mentors, and so on, they say these things not always out of, you know, a place of being cruel, although it can end up being pretty cruel, but because they want you to kind of see what they see. They don't have the vision for what you are envisioning. You know, they doubt. They want you to do something practical. I understand that impulse. I have a kid. I get it. I want her to do things that, you know, will be helpful to her life. But I also know I can't decide. You know, if she wants to do something that doesn't make sense to me, so be it. You know, I'm going to support her. But I think a lot of times this happens, you know, and sometimes it's only one time that somebody tells us, oh, that's not going to work. What are you going to do with that degree? You know, these kinds of things. So I think that you really have been in this place of kindling those fires within self, right? That soul, that SOL, right? Sun, that interior light. I also believe that this has really caused you to treat other people with great acceptance and really supporting other people's journeys. I could see you even being like a counselor. Yes, I'm thinking of a school counselor, but some kind of, you know, career counselor or somebody who helps people. You know, maybe you're a teacher, maybe you work at a college. I don't know, but I think that you are somebody who goes out of your way to really make people, especially younger people, feel good about their choices, even if everybody else thinks that's ridiculous, you know. And that's important, I think. You know, I think that to be a person in life that doesn't destroy other people's little dreams, big dreams, whatever, is important. Okay. Now, is it going to work out for them? I don't know. You know, we don't know. But I'm not going to be the one to crush somebody's passion. You know, the want that they have to do something. So I understand that, and I feel like this has been, this is really, you can see the size of this formation. This has been something that is really, really core to your being. I also think that it has brought you the ability to shed a lot of these heavy things that you carry around. The shame, the guilt, you know, maybe you did go your own way, right? And you didn't receive a lot of acceptance for that. And that's got to be difficult. That's hard. It's hard. But, you know, at some point we have to figure out, how do we let that stuff go? You know, and I think as you get older, it just comes more and more naturally. Hopefully never got to a point of resentment. That's a whole other, you know, can of worms to start to undo. That's a big thing. You get into that zone, and that's something that really erodes the family condition. So hopefully not that. But even if it is that, I think you've really done work to let that go. Now let's see. What else do we have going on here? Okay. So here we have a person, you can see the side of their face, and it looks like, I almost think that they're feeding animals here. We have like maybe a cat or a dog down here. We have birds. Okay, so the birds often represent to me messages, okay? I also think that you are somebody who is, I call all of the creatures that live around the house, bugs and plants and and animals and so on, are backyard spirits. I'm a truly, what's the word? I guess I'm a little bit superstitious. But I do believe that we must be devoted to ours, right? And so, I feed them, I water them, the squirrels, the birds, the plants, the animal, the, whatever, I put stuff out there to compost for them and so on, during the right seasons. But yes, I think that we take care of them and they take care of us, right? I think when you get into the habit, and I'm not saying that you have to spend all this money to feed the birds and all of that. It's not just about that. I think it's just living in a state of harmony as much as you can, right? Getting to know one another. And if you spend any amount of time in your backyard or side yard or in the front and on your porch or so on, you get to know the comings and goings of not only the people around you, but the animals, their schedules. What are they doing? What do they get up to? I like to watch the politics of the squirrels and all of their, the ones across the way, and they have different trees and they have territory. And if they cross the street over to my squirrels over here, we see, how does that happen? What goes on? Will they be well received and so on? And so I look at this and I'm thinking, you are a person who a lot of these beings rely on. I think that you mind them well. I think that you let them be, and maybe you are a person who does feed them. Maybe you are a person who, creates places for them to shelter. I've learned that you leave some brush out there so the rabbits and birds and things can nest on the ground and so on. It's just over time you start to figure out what are they looking for, what do they need. And so I feel that there's a great balance here. And I think, this really, it relates to the first formation too, in that I just feel that you are somebody who really has this aura around you that is quite welcoming. But I also think that you don't interfere with the course of other beings' paths, their lives, their doings. I think that you kind of just, you've been through some things in your life and you live and let live and there is a warmth and an accepting nature there, and where you must say, no, I don't like this. This isn't, I don't think this is right, and so on. You stand your ground and you set boundaries and you let it be known. But I don't think you go out of your way to manage people. nor do you get involved in their business and these kinds of things. And I think that this is why you have been so much more successful in your spiritual pursuits, in your emotional pursuits. And I feel that this is really beginning to manifest in your work, in your mundane life. You know, when we put down that whole part of existence of talking about other people, caring so much about what other people are doing, getting involved in their messes and you know, the gossipy and this and that and so on. When you relieve yourself of all of that, there's so much more time. There's so much more emotional bandwidth. There's so much more mental bandwidth, right? And so for you to be able to just exist in your space and do your thing and enjoy the things that you're doing. And when you have your problems, you sort them. And when you come into these difficult circumstances, into these situations, as we all do in life, you take your time with them, right? Your life isn't cluttered up with all this other stuff. And when I see somebody who exists in this way, I almost always imagine that you've been through some pretty difficult things. Because people who have had great tragedy in their life often are the ones that will really go out of their way not to harm others, not to cause problems for other people, because they know what it is to suffer deeply. And for things to pile on and so on. So, there has been a use to some of the things that you've been through. I wish you hadn't been, but I think that you have made something of yourself in spite of it. And that makes you quite a saint in my eyes. Now, we also have this being over here who really is in this action pose, putting the hand up into the metaphysical. We have the rim right there. We also have a question mark. Okay, and I look at this and I think, what are you going to be doing next? What is coming up for you? And I think it really is a movement towards this spiritual work. It really is. I see you going into some kind of maybe a business, side business. Maybe you are somebody who, you have some kind of talent or ability, clairvoyance, mediumship, channeling, healing, divination, whatever it is. There's something very special about you. I think that you have the configuration because you have done this interior work. You continue to do this interior work. It is something you have prioritized. And on top of that, you have this ability. And you take time with that ability as well. And you listen to yourself. You listen to yourself. That is the biggest and hardest step in engaging these abilities, right? And we all have them. Some of them come to us more naturally than others, but the biggest thing is listening. Finding that ability to connect to your intuition. Being able to suss out, what are these things that I'm feeling? What are these impressions I have? What are these, phenomena I'm experiencing? What is meaningful? What is not? What is useful? What is not? These kinds of things. And that can take a long time. But you have really, really unified yourself with this path. And so I see in this part of your life where things are really all coming together very powerfully. And I see there is just such an immense, what's the word? There's a fire here, right? I really feel like there's a lot of this fire elemental energy. Okay, and we see that with the sun, but I think just in general, there's a sense of real passion, real freedom too. A movement towards freedom to move. I feel like I even sense like a freer movement of your physical being. I feel like your shoulders feel looser, your jaw is unclenched. You feel free to, kind of move your body, dance. Do a little skip. Not make yourself smaller. Enjoy being you, being in your space, being present there, not trying to hide yourself. Make yourself unseen. There's a sense of just doing your own thing and being among other people. It doesn't, not as, I think, self-conscious, but also so conscious of how things feel, and allowing yourself to really get in there, really feel something. And not feel like, oh, people might be looking at me. They might think I'm standing weird or, am I breathing too loud? Am I, I'm kind of swaying to the song that's on at the grocery store. Then somebody might think I'm a weird person. Who cares? I don't think you do, And I think there's you found a lot of freedom and it's flowing through all these different parts of your existence right now. And I see that turning into you figuring out, hey, you know what? I really want to try this thing. I want to do this thing and I'm going to put my mind to it. I'm going to put some time into it. And it might just end up being, a business, making some money. Okay, and that would be great. Doing something that you love, that feels, exciting to do. Something that is yours. Okay, so let's take a look here. We have a person, we have a heart, and we have three, Trinity here. So I kind of feel like there's a little bit of a love thing. But, I'm trying not to sneeze. I'm sorry. A little bit of a love thing. I think even kind of a reunion. I'm getting this image of two people coming back together. But I think that it's something where you're apprehensive about it. And I don't think that there's necessarily a problem, but I think that you are feeling good about your life and where things are going for you, that you don't necessarily feel open to this kind of connection. I almost wonder if this is with somebody, like if you are married, and you've been working on it. And, any marriage goes through cycles. Sometimes you just really, you're just you've grown apart a little bit. And you have to make the decision. We're going to work on this. We're going to grow back together. We're going to figure this out. Well, maybe, you're there. But at the same time, it's like, hey, I feel like I'm kind of doing this thing for myself. I feel really good about what I'm doing right now. And all of that is not a priority for me right now. So that's, maybe something to think about. It's no right or wrong. No judgment, no personal value place on that. Sometimes that just happens, you know, and when we do well, we attract people. We attract people to us. Even the people we have established relationships with. Not because they necessarily want anything, but because you are, you know, so full of that light. Like a beacon. So, you know, it's just, my goodness, things are complicated to be a human, to be a person, to be, you know, knowing other people. It's all so much sometimes. It's all so much. Okay, let's see. We have the Happier Me affirmation cards. And let's see, what do we have? What do we have? We're gonna flip through here. I'm going to stop where it feels right. And it says, hello, T. Hello, T. It says, I'm courageous and I stand up for myself. That's a really pretty picture. No buns in the picture, please. Thank you. Nobody needs to see all that. Okay, let's see. And it says, know your worth and don't allow others... don't allow others make you feel any less. Don't allow others to make you feel any less. Their opinions are just that, opinions. So it says, know your worth and don't allow others. Okay. I was like, what's going on with this? I'm not really good at reading out loud, but yes. Don't allow others to make you feel any less. Their opinions are just that, opinions. Yeah, and that's hard. It's hard to, you know, it's hard to always live in that space, right? Sometimes, I think most of the time I'm pretty good at it. Sometimes no. I'm very sensitive. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, you know, people don't know what they're talking about. We don't know what we're talking about. Not even half, I would say 89.5% of the time, what anybody has to say about anybody else is a projection of their own stuff. And I try to remind myself of that often. But it's not always easy, is it? So anyways, Sagittarius, I want to say thank you so much for spending this time with me. It is always such an honor to be able to bring these messages to you. If you would be so kind as to like the video, it really does help the channel so much. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit the little bell. It'll let you know when the next videos are coming out. It is free to subscribe. It is free to subscribe. And if you want to leave a comment, do, please. I read them all, and they mean a lot. And so, with that, Sagittarius, I will tell you I love you. And, yeah, we're about to hit that, like, vast, the vast winter, the vast summer, depending on where you're at. And, it's probably my favorite time of year, I have to say. I like when the stress of this month is over. We have some time to just really dig into those darker months, the colder months. And, yeah, I don't know. I look forward to it. And hopefully so do you. All right. Again, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We'll talk in just a few days.